Hello and welcome to another episode of Reese's Reviews. I'm your host, Matt, and joining me on this episode today is Mr. R.
Mr. R, the co-host with the mostest. Yes, Reece Casual. I am back, as always. I am the co-host of this amazing podcast with the legend that is Matthew, talking about all things movies, TV shows, entertainment, and all things that we love.
Just a bunch of bullshit. That's pretty much it.
Bunch of Aussies throwing crap.
Yes, and thank you everyone who has been commenting, listening. We read all your stuff. We just read it. So,
very enjoyable. So, I think we've got a message the other day that from what we discussed about a couple of episodes ago about maybe doing a theme coming into a month. I got a good message from a fellow friend of ours of the podcast who recommended doing the musical tribute month kind of thing and gave me some suggestions for that. So I think.
Yeah, I think you're all by yourself there, so no. I'll just hand the reins over to you for the musicals.
Well, December is coming up, so we can do a Christmas themed. So
no, screw that. No.
I'll be watching I'll be doing my Christmas themed movies every year. So
okay, well, Christmas there will be Die Hard 2, so and what are the ones?
Harry Potter.
We'll get. Oh God, yes. All right. So we've got a fair bit on in this episode, so let's get straight into Entertainment Honourable Mentions.
Big episode today. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, and let's just not waste any time. This is Entertainment Honourable Mentions. Now, the first thing off the rank, this was announced a couple of weeks ago. I'm a bit behind the ball a little bit, but we've got announced.
And by the time you listen to this as well, it'll be more than 8 weeks as well. So.
Probably. It wasn't. I don't think it was that far ago, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But it has been announced that everyone knows, if you've known about in the movie industry, that Steven Spielberg's got a new sci-fi UFO kind of looking movie coming out next year. He's already in production. It's already going on. It's going to be released next year, and it's been announced that John Williams is going to score it. So at the age of 93, he's still working hard. He's still collaborating with Steven Spielberg. This will be their 30th film collaborating together. Their first film they've ever done together was back in 1974, The Sugarland Express. And I think any conversation can be made when it comes to in my personal opinion, John Williams is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time when it comes to musical composers for film. There is no one that comes close to him. You can just hum a couple of bars and you can just picture some of his scores. Like all you hear is dun 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 dun. Indiana Jones.
I'm going to challenge you there.
Okay.
I'd say that two others who probably come close will be Hans Zimmer.
He's in the discussion. But I still think John Williams is the number one. But Hans Zimmer, yes, underneath John, Hans is my favorite underneath him.
Okay, and what about Danny Elfman?
I don't think he's in the the top 5, but he is in a good discussion. Like you think of Beetlejuice and everything he's done with Tim Burton, I think is that. I personally think what's another one? Alexander Desplat. I think he's a good composer.
Cool. I'm just throwing it out there. So because.
I just think I think
challenge accepted.
John Williams is the GOAT. He's the best of all time. He's done so many iconic scores, from Jaws to Indiana Jones to E.T. to Star Wars. Like he's contributed to so many iconic scores. Harry Potter. He's done so much brilliant. So when you think about John Williams, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Straight away, Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. Well, that is my favorite films of all time. Star Wars is my.
I imagine when John Williams, you invite him over for a dinner or a supper or whatever, he comes up to you, knock on the door, and then as you open it, it goes. When
I've got a score playlist, I would say at least 50 or so % of that playlist is John Williams scores. And I went to the concert tribute up the Opera House of John Williams, and that's one of the best concerts I've ever been to. I was so swept up in that music, like just that Schindler's List and that violin and just everything that he's done is absolutely remarkable. So the fact that he's still working at the age of 93, he's teaming up with Steven Spielberg again to do a sci-fi again. So he's bringing on that essence that he did with E.T. and Close Encounters and his Star Wars. He's got that sci-fi-esque, and I cannot wait to see what stamp he has on this new film by Steven Spielberg. Do you know much about Steven Spielberg's new adventure coming up?
No, but I am aware of the team up.
Yeah, beautiful. Awesome. Well, that is number one. So leading on to this one's actually really fresh. So I only found this out. I think it's only got announced as of the time of this recording. It only got announced maybe at the beginning of today. So fresh off the. I got this off Deadline, and Scarlett Johansson has been signed on to star in a new Exorcist movie from Blumhouse, Atomic Monster, Morgan Creek, and Universal. So they
Oh,
have signed her up. Mike Flanagan is set to write and direct. And this will not be a sequel to the previously Exorcist movie that came out last year, which was Exorcist Believer. This will be a standalone, whole new story of Exorcist, starring Scarlett Johansson. Now, when it comes to horror films, I know you're not too much interested in that genre, but what's your relationship with the Exorcist franchise?
well, I saw it went for, what was it for the anniversary? Um, Goodness gracious. I think it was like the 30th or the 40th anniversary or whatever it was. And they released it or they screened it at the cinemas and I went and saw it. And it was the first time I had actually saw it and I've gone, oh, okay, this is like, I loved it,
Yeah.
but I didn't think it was that bad. And then I realized, oh, at the time when it came out, it was horrific. It was one of the most scariest films. And I watched Shudder's, cursed films documentary thing where they showed the behind the scenes of how they did everything,
Yeah.
and someone ended up with back injuries,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so
I think
and wow, with what's his name, the way that William Friedkin had directed the film,
yeah.
it was kind of rough
Okay.
to a lot of but yeah, it's good to see that there's going to be another Exorcist. I wonder if Linda Blair is going to have anything to do with
I
it.
don't know. I don't know. I think she made a cameo in the in Believer, so I'm not too sure. But I do agree with you that when I first saw Exorcist, this gave me nightmares. Like the first Exorcist gave me nightmares. Like I was scared of living crap out of that movie.
Especially when she crawled down the stairs upside down.
That was a little bit, yeah, but it was everything in that bed and the voice she put on and the spinning of the head and the vomiting and I was like, it freaked the living hell out of me when I was a kid. I don't think I've watched it since I was an adult. I don't think I'll be able to cope. But I walked into Believer thinking I was going to get the same kind of experience, and I walked out of there so disappointed. It's one of the worst movies I've seen. It was very, really badly done. But I'm actually intrigued to see how Scarlett Johansson is. The script must have been pretty good for her to get to sign on, and in fact, they got Mike Flanagan. He's the one who did The Haunting of Hill House, and he also did one of the latest Stephen King adaptations with Ewan McGregor, Doctor Sleep, which was the
Oh,
sequel.
the sequel, yeah, to The Shining, which is one of my favorite films.
Yeah, so he directed that. So he's got that. Plus, he did another Stephen King adaptation this year called The Life of Chuck. So
Yeah.
he can do very much two different kind of genres. So I'm intrigued to see what he does with this adaptation. The fact that they got Scarlett Johansson, I'm actually being a great fan of Blumhouse lately because they're doing a lot of interesting films in that studio with being able to do things on a cheaper budget but provide good quality um, cinema with a
Hmm.
great story and bring things to a realism and just give you a bit of a thrill and a fright in a way. So love the studio who's involved. The fact that it's also connected with Universal. It's got Scarlett Johansson, Mike Flanagan. These has got the foundation's going to be a good time if all of the pieces line up correctly. So I'm really intrigued to see where this goes, and I'll be looking out for the first marketing points and some more plot points about what this film is going to provide. So that is our second of honorable mention. So very quick segment this week on Entertainment Honourable Mentions, but I thought those two were definitely worthwhile educating our amazing audience about things coming through the pipeline. So that is Entertainment Honourable Mentions.
All right, now Reece, let's get this over and done with. Let's go straight into
make it sound like it's a chore.
Oh, it is a chore. In my case, it's a chore because you're like 2 to my 1 or 3 to my 1 when it comes to movies and TV shows and all that. The fact is that I watched a movie during the week.
Brilliant. Yes.
And I also got started watching a new TV series. So I can actually talk about it.
He's catching up, ladies and gentlemen. He's catching up to me.
Yes. But Reece, bring on your first review for this episode.
Yes, so this is a new release, and this did not get a theatrical release here in Australia for obvious reasons. It didn't get too much of a push. But
why was it shit?
No. Now, this is a film that's also been hit with some bad publicity as well. And
of course,
unfortunately, yes. The main reason why this film is known is because of what happened, and it's unfortunate. Now, the movie I'm obviously talking about is the Alec Baldwin movie Rust. Now, this, unfortunately, just like back in the 80s, I think it's the 80s with The Crow, with Brendan Lee, a lot of
90s.
A lot of people know about
early 90s.
Yeah, a lot of people know about that film because of the tragedy that happened to Brendan Lee. And unfortunately, when it comes to this film, same thing applies when it comes to the unfortunate passing of the cinematographer Helena Hutchins, who was shot and eventually, after taken to hospital, passed away due to the gunshot wound with a bullet being on a real life bullet being on set. The thing about it is, I actually, coincidentally, there was a documentary they released about the situation that happened on set of this, about the passing and how the court case and things like that, and how things happen. So I watched that before, like months ago, and going before even watching this movie, which we found it was so eerie. And then watching certain scenes and that they showed in that documentary when they were using the practical effects, and I went, "Oh, this is very eerie." But I'm taking all that aside. I'm not trying to the whole purpose of this review is not talking about the unfortunate passing of Helena Hutchins. I found it was a beautiful tribute that they did at the end. They said at the conclusion of this film, they said for Helena, and then right after the credits, they did a whole little piece about Helena's work was astonishing, and the world deserved to see it. And that's why they went back into production to finish the film so that people could see the brilliant work that she did. And all the proceeds went to the foundation set up by her under her name, which was a beautiful tribute at the end. But I want to talk about the actual film and the work that she did. Now, I actually find that when it comes to Western, this is a Western, these films don't get too much recognition in this, in pretty much
this day and age.
Yeah, this day and age, we don't get too much of Westerns in general. And if we do get Westerns, they are very much like this, where they're straight to VOD, and they don't streaming. They don't get a theatrical release. They don't get very often. I think the last one I can remember was which one was the film? It was starring Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt. I cannot recall the name of it. I'm just laughing at the moment, but I think that's the last theatrical Western movie I can recall going into theatrical. I might be mistaken, but this film I actually quite enjoyed. I thought it was great, and this is not a thing on purpose on what the tragedy happened, but the cinematography was absolutely gorgeous. The way they shot the landscapes in Wyoming, they shot certain points on the Yellowstone Park and some things in New Mexico as well. In those kind of shots, the way they shot the mountainsides and the sunsets, and it was so gorgeously shot, and it definitely showed she had talent. I would have commented on the cinematography even if it wasn't about the tragedy that happened, and I felt it was incredible. Now, when it
So the movie overall. So if we put that tragedy aside,
yes,
please explain what is going on with the
okay,
film.
yeah. So in retrospect of when it comes to the story of the film, all westerns, I don't find these stories are very they're not really in depth. There's not a whole lot of depth to western stories. They usually are very simple, easy to follow stories. So pretty much this whole film is set up by it's set up with these two young boys. The main boy being Lucas, who's trying to look after his younger brother after parents passing away. He gets into a kind of predicament where he gets arrested and ends up putting on death row, to be hanged. And then when it comes down to it, that's where it brings in Albert Baldwin's character Russ, who ends up rescuing him, and they're on the run from the law and bounty hunters who are trying to catch up with Rust, who is also an outlaw himself, and
Mm-hmm.
and Lucas, and they're on the run from the law. That's pretty much the premise of the film. So there's not the thing. There's no over complex narrative to it, nothing like that. So when you've got a narrative like that, where it's not a whole lot of depth, it's all about execution. It's all about how they flush out the characters and how they bring those two together with the what's the word when it comes to into the set period of where it's set. And this is set in the 1800s. So you got the Old West and you've got all this other points coming around it. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought they made the characters believable. I
Yep.
found that the production design definitely was well made, with it making you feel like it was in the 1800s. The performances done by the cast were fantastic. Now, a little bit of trivia, which was unfortunate due to what happened. The main person who had played the sheriff, who was on one of the people on the hunt, was
Yeah.
originally being played by Jensen Ackles from Supernatural. So
Okay.
he actually shot a fair few scenes before the tragedy happened and the production shut down. And then when they went back to production due to scheduling conflicts, Jensen couldn't return to the production, so they had to recast him.
Oh,
So
that's interesting.
yeah. So I was actually, when I heard about this film years ago, before when they were about to announce it, because I'm being a big fan of Supernatural, Jensen was really excited finally being able to be in a Western.
If you're a fan of that person, or his fan base, I should
Yeah.
say, will draw in I guess, the
Yeah, so he was
crowd.
promoting it on his socials, and when he go to conventions, he was saying, "Oh, I'm so looking forward to being in a Western. It's gonna be great. Alec Baldwin's in it. We've got you've got an Aussie playing in it as well. I'm
Yep.
just going to bring that up because I always forget his name, which is really really bad for me because he's an Aussie guy. It is Travis Fimmel. I think he was in Vikings. He's an Aussie bloke, and he was in it. He plays one of the bounty hunters, which is fantastic. But just the overarching, like, I want to say it's just not the greatest film of all time. Like, I'm not saying I was transfixed, but the whole purpose behind it is wanting to believe in the characters, which they did. I think one of the standouts was the young actor who played Lucas, the titular character, which was a young kid by the name of Patrick Scott McDermott. He did a brilliant performance for it. Might have been one of his first outings, and I think that was very great. So if you're into the Western genre, I would recommend this film. The only thing I say sometimes that makes this film fall short is some of the practical action isn't believable. You can see that it's staged. You can see some of the gunfire isn't working. Some of it's not believable because when you have the gunfires going between the two sides, you can go, okay, you've set off about 15, 16 shots. No one's gotten hit. Like, you're not, and the way it was shot, they're not that far away from each other. So some of the practical action wasn't really believable, but you kind of give it a pass in some aspects. But at another point, you still believe it in a way. So that's where I find the shortfall happened. It's slow at certain points, but it is just over a 2 hour film. So I think westerns these days shouldn't go for too long, because especially if you have a western where the story isn't strong, you
Yep.
need to have some sort of other pull to keep customers interested. And if you don't have a lot of that kind of other aspects of big dramatic scenes or big action scenes, you're not going to have a lot of interest to pull your audience in. So overall, I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was intriguing things to watch. Unfortunately, the big pull of the film is the tragedy that happened, but all my heart and my condolences goes out to the family of Helena Hutchins, and it is no bias whatsoever. I took it on the fact of the work that she did. She did a phenomenal job. The cinematography was gorgeous. I absolutely loved it. And so I rated this film a 3.5 out of 5 on my Letterboxd. And it's only lost, and I could have given it 4, but it was just down to that practical action side of things. It didn't, and some of the lighting was very dark at points. I find between those 2 points, it knocked off half a star for that, but 3.5 stars. Enjoyed it. If you're a fan of westerns, I would say watch it and have an open mind and trying to go into it without any pre-exempting assumptions about what happened on set. Just take it on as a western film and see what they want to provide and pay homage and respect to, that is, Helena Hutchins. So I know you probably haven't seen the film, but do you know much about it? Have you got any? What's your interest in the Western genre to believe it?
I do like the odd Western. I like old school Westerns. Like not old school. I'm thinking like Westerns were really cool other than when they came out in the 60s and stuff. But I'm more of a 90s Western.
Okay.
So any Westerns that came out in the 90s, like Young Guns, Quick, the Good, the Quick and the Dead and all that stuff. Unforgiven.
I've seen Quick and the Dead. That's the one with Russell Crowe and Leonardo DiCaprio and Sharon Stone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that.
I like that stuff back in the 90s. So yeah, I probably will see Rust eventually. It's just not high on my list.
It is on. It's on one of the streaming services. So,
but do put it on the list of movies I need to watch.
Alrighty, good thing to go. Excellent. I'm putting it on our list.
Cool. Thank you very much for that review, Reece.
You're very welcome. Now I'm not going to continue on next. Now it's going to be on to the legend that is my co-host. He has something to contribute to this podcast, which is amazing. I want to bring it on. Now, Matty, tell me, what did you watch this week? I think it was a bit of an Aussie film. I don't think when it comes to on this podcast, I think your thing you contribute is just bringing Aussie films to the forefront of people's minds on this podcast. So, what Aussie film did you watch this week?
I watched one that was like it had been out for a certain period of time in around 2001. The movie that I watched, it was co-written by the great Aussie actor Lockie Hume, and it is Let's Get Skase. So
never heard of
the movie. Yes, well, it is of a certain taste because
okay.
No, not in a negative way or anything. It's a comedy,
okay,
but it didn't set the cinema on metaphorical fire, but it wasn't a big blockbuster hit or anything like that. But at the time, it's based on the kidnapping of Christopher Skase. Now, while he was never kidnapped, Christopher Skase was, I should say, because he's dead, a business tycoon who, in the 80s, he was just everywhere. And he was just buying up everything. He was known for, and this is all true, he was known for buying or starting a bunch of resorts, Mirage resorts. And basically, he borderline nearly owned Port Douglas, and he would just build resorts everywhere. And he also owned Channel 7 at one stage, and through like his company Quintex. But what had happened was that he just kept spending. He actually nearly bought the James Bond series. He was on the borderline of owning that, yeah. But all because I was watching this because I was inspired by another podcast by Mark Humphreys, comedian Mark Humphreys, who did a podcast basically the rise and fall of Christopher Skase, right? So if you look up his history, wow, it's like he's not like he was big in the 90s because everyone was after him.
Mhm.
He basically fled to Mallorca, and like there was just a big scandal, like the chase for Skase it was. Andrew Denton, when he had his show on TV called Denton, he was trying to hire a bounty hunter
Yep.
and bring Skase back and so forth, but by Australian law that was illegal. So it didn't happen. Anyway, so inspired off that, Lockie Hume decided to write a movie based as a humorous take on bounty hunters in Australia trying to hunt him down and kidnap him from Mallorca, from his home, infiltrate, and bring him back to Australia. And so with Hume as the main cast member in the main role, and with support from Alex Dimitriadis.
Yeah, so I just looked at it and I was going, where do I know that? Like, was it Lucky Holm? Is that his name?
Lockie Hume.
Lucky Hume. I was going, okay. I was just to start brainstorming, going, okay, where do go through the casting crew? I went Lucky Hume. I went, that guy looks familiar. Where do I know that guy?
He's been everywhere.
And I went, that's Sparks from Matrix Revolutions and Reloaded. I went, I thought he looked familiar. Just didn't. He was all clean shaven in Matrix. I went, I thought he looked familiar.
Hey, and fast forward many years later, he was in the running to play the Joker in Christopher Nolan's Batman. Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, which obviously went to Heath Ledger. But yeah, he was up for that role. But yeah, Lockie is, in a lot of Australian movies and TV shows, and but also known as in The Matrix. Now, this whole movie also stars with the rival bounty hunter Craig McLachlan, and the whole premise of it all is just a group of them were being hired or approved by businesses to kidnap Skase from Mallorca, bring him back. And with all that comes a lot of slapstick and bizarre, over-the-top consequences. So all as a comedy. And if you don't know what the history of Skase, then it's really hard to explain.
Okay. But do they at least do they deliver? Does the direction and the narrative is it easy to understand how they?
Okay, well, because it's an Australian comedy, Australian film, they did the best they can on a budget, which was pretty much early noughties, late 90s.
So non-existent.
So, but they did the best they can. Like it's a lot of the time it wasn't. It was entertaining. It wasn't laugh out loud funny, but it was funny. So, and when you watch it now, it's a lot of dated references. The fact that no one gives a flying fuck about Christopher Skase anymore.
Right.
If you don't know his history, you're welcome to go down the rabbit hole on Google, and I swear you will get stuck down there.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but if you want something which was basically looked over, because when the movie came out, within months, he in real life, Christopher Skase passed away.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So everyone was still out to get him, and because he stole millions and millions from people, and he claimed he was broken. Without getting into it, it's so people were out for his blood, and then he ended up dying from lung cancer.
Oh, okay, that's it.
Oh, no, it's not a shame. Trust me, it's one of those good riddance. The guy was an asshole.
Oh, okay. I retract my statement then.
Yeah. So the timing couldn't have been better for him. So, if you want something that is somewhat entertaining, lighthearted and bits, and comedic.
Okay.
And just something where you can just turn off your brain, and it is a time capsule of what was going on in the late 90s at the time.
Yep.
Then this movie, it's hard to find now. I actually bought it off eBay for $10.
Okay.
So it's not on any streaming service. Again, it's not a major film.
Yeah.
But it is a sleeper film where if you want to see Australian talent as well, like the fact that you weren't aware of Lockie Hume until you go, oh, from The Matrix. Well, this is stuff that he did before The Matrix.
Wow. Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Yep.
And you'll see a few other Australian talent in there as well.
Beautiful.
So,
okay, what'd you rate it?
I gave it what did I give it? Hold on, let me just check my Letterboxd. Gave it a 3, yeah, because I had to give it the benefit of the doubt. Like it was very dated, but when I do also look at the ratings that Margaret Pomerantz and David Stratton gave this film as well, they gave it like was it 3.5? So, yeah.
Did you give it a like? Did you actually quite enjoy it and like it, or did it just
I bought the DVD.
Okay, fair enough.
So I own it, yeah. So I did enjoy it. So, but it was entertaining. It was enjoyable.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So if you want a copy of it, let me know.
yeah, no worries. So that is Let's Get Skase. Aussie classic from the 90s, apparently. So, yes, so anyone interested in a Aussie classic with some slapstick Aussie humour, give it a go and give it a chance. Alrighty, going on to next one where the Matt Man is going to...
God, I haven't been referred to that in a long time.
I know.
Well,
I have a memory. It's sometimes it lacks on me sometimes, but it's still in there on occasion. I remember you calling the Matt Man.
Yeah.
When you're on doing a certain radio segment.
Developing an ego there.
So we're going to continue on with the Matt Man as he's now going to
you can drop that now. Drop that. Please don't. That's embarrassing.
He's been watching a certain TV show from one of his favorite creators at the moment. So what have you been watching?
I've been watching Pluribus.
That's the new series on Apple TV Plus.
Yes, correct. And at the time of this recording, there were 4 episodes in, and I've watched 3 of them so far. Oh my God, this is brilliant. I love Vince Gilligan. He is, other than a fantastic episode TV writer, because he was the one that created Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. You'll also, before those, he used to be a writer, contributor to The X-Files. So, in fact, one of the episodes that he helped produce was an episode where Bryan Cranston was in it. And
is that where their relationship started, is it?
Basically, yeah. So, but Pluribus is like, and also I can't forget as well El Camino, which is the movie, Breaking Bad movie. So we aren't diving too far into if you're not aware of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and El Camino, then what are you doing listening to this?
I'm one of them.
You are? Oh, goodness
I've never
gracious.
seen Breaking Bad. I've never seen Better Call Saul. So
you need to watch them. They're on your streaming services.
My interest in the cartel and drug side of storytelling, I can't really get into.
It is if you want something that's got borderline perfect cinematography, a killer soundtrack, highly suspenseful scenes when they don't need to be, or it's going to be a basic thing, but the way that it's delivered, Vince Gilligan is your man. Okay, and I swear you won't regret it. Okay. Anyway, with Pluribus, the main feature is played by Rhea Seehorn, who was in Better Call Saul.
Yep.
And while Better Call Saul was snobbed a lot in the Emmys, Golden Globes and so forth like that. Every year, Rhea Seehorn was is just perfection with it all. And she never got nominated or won. And if anything, Pluribus was basically written exactly for her. And without spoiling, because it's still a fresh show, think Close. No. Actually, I would, yeah. Think Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like a hint of that.
Right.
Plus Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Right.
Plus plus The World's End, and incorporate it into the world of Better Call Saul.
That's a very messed up mix.
Oh, it is so bizarre, and it is.
Is that what Pluribus is?
Pluribus is, yeah, that's what it really is. So, we've got the basis of it is we've got an author who is doing the rounds, promoting her book.
I think you mentioned this in the podcast like episode ago. The premise of it. So pretty much it's an author where people are getting invaded, but she's one of the few where it doesn't affect her.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then it goes from there. So and it infected the world. So a bunch of scientists have discovered something, and then like a formula to one thing, and then it goes from there. That's as much as I'm going to say. And when I say, the Better Call Saul type thing, you've got, well, obviously Reece Seahorn, but her character is, living in Albuquerque, which is where basically the Better Call Saul / Breaking Bad universe is from. And then it's just spawned off from there. So Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where people are being inhabited by this alien technology. And also Close Encounters of the Third Kind, being finding a signal, finding a thing.
Yep.
As well as The World's End, where there's that complete takeover of the alien, like living in the alien master race type thing. And so far, also think, have you seen The Last Man on Earth?
The Last Man on
Earth.
It's
a TV comedy starring Will Forte.
No, I haven't seen that one. Okay.
Last Man on Earth, if you've seen that, it's got a little bit of elements of that. So because it's like a kind of rebuilding life again, and she's trying to work out who else is okay, who else is infected. Basically, like 99.9999% of the world's infected. No one knows why herself and a few others haven't been infected.
So definitely has a mystery side of things to it. And you get
sci-fi, mystery, drama, and comedy. So and I will say, I'm at the time of this recording, I'm 3 episodes in. It's a slow burn, but that's because that is Vince Gilligan's style, and it is. But is it beautifully shot? It might be a
slow burn, but how much does he keep you intrigued with the dynamics of the characters? Because sometimes it could be a slow burn, and you're losing your audience to how slow a pace it is.
It's beautifully shot, and when there's the parts where you think, I'm starting to lose interest, bam, it kicks you back in again.
Okay. So, all right.
Yeah, honestly, it's right up your thing, and there are just moments where, there will be a certain scene where it's just dead quiet, or everything's done in one shot, or it's just constantly extended. It's like, holy crap. So, it's beautifully done, mate.
Alrighty, and
I reckon it's right up your alley with this show.
Okay,
because it's sci-fi. It's
you've
nothing to do with drug.
I am going on to my Apple TV Plus now. I'm adding it to my never-ending list.
Well, get this one, because it's like when I referred to Severance at the
still
time.
Haven't watched that.
Yeah, well, get on to Pluribus now, because it's only a few episodes in, and it is. And the reviews that are coming through are just been absolutely phenomenal.
Okay.
It feels refreshing. It feels original. And Reece Seahorn, if she doesn't get nominated for anything, this world is screwed. Honestly. She's
phenomenal.
Absolutely amazing.
Okay. All right. Well, it's on my list. I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up on some other things. I gotta catch up on Welcome to Dare. I'm a few episodes behind on that. I gotta catch up on Fire Country and some other things. But once I caught up to date, I might give. I always try and give a new series 2 episodes. If it doesn't pull me in by then I kind of give up. But I'll give it.
It will pull you in. It got me in on the first episode. It should pull you in on the first episode, if not second episode.
Okay, well, I'll do it.
Because you're gonna be asking questions. You're gonna go, why this? Why this? I don't get that, but eventually it will be answered in due time. Or one thing will get answered, and then another 10 things pop up. So,
Great,
but
fantastic.
no, but it does, things get answered or get resolved, or you think why this is happening, and then the characters will, they will actually call it out too. Go, why this? So, yeah. Anyway, it's just Vince Gilligan style, mate, and I highly recommend it. I give the show at the moment 4.5, maybe 5 out of 5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Alrighty. Well,
it's one of my favorites at the moment.
I'm actually doing it. I've got it on my phone at the moment, but I found that a Letterboxd is trialing to try and figure out a way to include TV shows onto Letterboxd. So
Yeah. I've noticed a couple of those have popped up on my friends' things where they've tagged themselves watching this and go, oh, that's a TV series.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool. Well, that is Pluribus. So you've got the shining recommendation from the legend that he is, Matt. So if you enjoy the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, then looks like if you're a fan of his style of writing and the way he creates his shows, then looks like this show will be right up your alley with him going back to his roots back from the 80s or 90s of X-Files. He's gone back to the sci-fi roots. So give it a go. He's convinced me. It's on my list. I'll try and in the next couple of episodes of this podcast, I might be able to come back in and give you my 2 cents of what I thought of the first 2 episodes and go on from there.
Put it this way. If you went to Albuquerque for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul locations, you're going to go back again to check out Pluribus locations.
Nice.
Guilty as charged. Sorry, I've been to Albuquerque. I've been to Walter White's house and all that.
Beautiful. Hey, well, you're a fan. I went to Wilmington, North Carolina, because I'm a huge fan of One Tree Hill. So I'm guilty of that too, mate. So you're not alone.
Well, we're going to squeeze in one more review from Reece and also a little bit of a dovetail. But Reece, I'm going to hand the microphone over to you.
Yeah. So everyone knew this was coming. Now, I have been a fan of the source material of this next film for almost 20 years since I first saw it. It's been around for 20 years. I don't think I saw it. I think I saw it back in 2010. So it's been
really how wicked.
Yes, well, he's buried the lead. We are forced talking about the second film, Wicked for Good. This has been up until, I would say, yeah, even including this was my most anticipated film behind Superman for 2025. I have been looking forward to this all year. Wicked is my favorite musical of all time. I've seen it numerous of times. I've seen it maybe 5 or 6 times here in Australia. I saw it on the West End in London. I saw it recently on Broadway in New York. I love the show. I love the story. I love the music, and it's absolutely fantastic. I came out of Wicked #1 absolutely I'm astonished and amazed about what they were able to put on screen, the production value, the way John M. Chu was able to capture the magic and the essence and the love that he has for this source material. It was just absolutely astonishing, and it made me feel like old Hollywood, where they put so much into the practicality of what was on screen. They planted millions of tulips for that opening scene going into Munchkin Land, and just getting Ariana and Cynthia and the rest of the actors record live on set, and all the choreography, the costume design, everything was just top notch. I gave the first one 5 stars on my Letterboxd.
Wow.
I absolutely I loved it. So going into this one, my expectations were pretty high, especially the fact of all the songs that are in the production. 2 of the 3, we kind of disregard Defying Gravity because everyone loves Defying Gravity. That's the main song that comes out of the show. But outside of Defying Gravity, 2 of my favorite, 2 out of the 3 favorite songs I have in the show are in the second act of the Broadway show, and coincidentally in this second film. And so I didn't want them to screw them up. So that's the whole point. So I walked into this with kind of high expectations. I had fantastic company when I saw it. I saw it with my brother, my sister-in-law, and my beautiful little niece. And so I walked into this one was like so geared up, ready to go. Now, What I would say is I don't think it is as good as the first. It's
Right.
slightly lesser than the first. And the reason I say that is the first 40 to 45 minutes feel a little clunky at times. It's just a little bit scripted. It doesn't have the same kind of charm and the magic that was brought to life very instantly in the first film. And so I found that was a bit jarring to be a part of. But even though I loved the characters and I love what they put on screen, I found a bit of jarring at times. So um, I just found it a bit like, yeah. So it's pretty much parts of it was also found a little bit too scripted at certain points as well, and some of the moments didn't actually hit when they should have been a bit more powerful. But what made it better is by the time you get to a certain point in the film, about 50 minutes or so into the film, like almost just short of halfway, the film finds that charm again. It finds that magic, and the world that was brought to life so instantly in the first one was found. And from that point until the end credits, it did not let up. And so, even though the first just short of an hour I found was a bit conjoined, I was a little bit lackluster, a little bit unfortunate, disappointed with, it didn't matter because the rest of the film was absolutely incredible and
Oh,
lived
good.
up to it. So I still gave this film 4 stars on my Letterboxd. It didn't hit that 5 star because at that moment, with all those first points. But other than that, it's everything was on point. The performances, like I found that Elphaba was definitely shown a lot more highly in the first one. Ariana Grande is definitely shown a bit more with being able to expand on the story, they were able to add. They actually got to expand a lot of the songs that they couldn't do on the stage production. So they'll be able to actually bring more character development to Elphaba and Galinda. They did 2 original songs. Now I found the original songs they worked well for the character development, but they wouldn't be. They don't have their same iconic feel as the other ones do. They are decent songs, and I find
Do you, do you think that they raised the bar too high with the first film?
not necessarily because the second film is a darker tone of a film. They deal with different tones, and I think it just comes down to the second part act of the film. A lot of people even say with the stage production isn't they don't like the second act as much as they do with the first act anyway. So it's not like they had a lot of the same kind of notions with that point. So, but I think it just came down to that the way it was shot with editing and the way they brought certain things to life. I found it was a little bit too scripted and didn't provide a lot of that magic. But outside of that, but they eventually did find it. So that's the main thing. And they ended it, and the main points of that second act, like my favorite songs of part two of the stage show or in the entire
Mm.
show is As Long As You're Mine, which is the love duet between Elphaba and Friero, and the outpouring of crying of the song No Good Deed. And then you got For Good at the end, which is the emotional one. So, but those 2 songs were done brilliantly. I felt emotion when it comes to the duet between Elphaba and Friero, when it comes to No Good Deed and her anguish and her longing and the anger. I felt that it was cinematic. It was gorgeous the way they shot it with the surrounding CGI, and it was done all practicality with the live performances. It was actually so good. Cynthia didn't miss a beat when it comes to her vocal performance, and Ariana Grande did great as well. The visual effects, the special effects, the production, the costume designs, cinematography, all done top notch. The entire thing was done, shot very, very beautifully. The tone was interrupted at source is just as the tone of the film was interpreted just as the source material is on the stage show. So the same narrative does follow with some some points taking some liberties on and changed in certain points as well. Um, but outside of that, this film, these both I would classify all as one film. I think if you would do a double feature and you watch all these 2 films back to back, they are very coherent. You can watch them very seamlessly back to back, and they work beautifully. So if you just put them both together, I wish someone could try and do that. So you can watch all of this in one point. It's so seamless because they all
Oh,
work well.
I'm sure that they'll do it. That's what people did. Made fan edits, say like with Rogue One,
Yeah.
where they joined that up with A New Hope,
Yeah.
and they made it seamless. So
Yeah, I would love to do that because it's so beautiful the way, and it's very interwoven as well. So I found that was done. It's the testament to Hollywood. This is what Hollywood filmmaking should be. The way it was, they put all the effort into production and the way it was shot, and the fact that Howard John Chu was just being able to bring this vision to life. It was so beautifully made. So I recommend this film wholeheartedly. If you love the first one, I would definitely find you would love the second one just as much. I got emotional at the end. I'm not ashamed. I got emotional at the end with For Good, as I always do. That song and those lyrics, the performances by Cynthia Reno in that scene, just you're transfixed on the screen with their performances and the way they speak, they're singing each lyric with you. It's absolutely phenomenal. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was not disappointed by the end of it. Yes, I was a bit let down with the first 40 or 45 minutes, but sorry about that. But the rest of it after that was made up for it, so it didn't matter. Yes, I didn't give it my 5 stars on my Letterboxd as I did the first one, but giving my 4 stars is just as good. So that's my 2 cents of it. I could talk about this film for a long while, but I'm not going to bore our audience. So I'll just say, please give it a go if you can. Watch it. Just get swept up into the magic that is Wicked for Good. Now, before we sign off on this podcast today, we have a guest. We have a guest coming on to this podcast to give his 2 cents on the review of Wicked for Good. He's been on this podcast before, and I could not speak about Wicked for Good without getting him onto this podcast to talk about it, because him and I have the same love and passion for the stage show and for this source material that is Wicked. So the man that is Stuart Liddell, this is his 2 cents and his review on Wicked for Good. And take it away, Stuart.
Hello everyone, it's Reece's buddy Stu, having just walked out of seeing Wicked for Good. Well, all I can say is this is the longest intermission I've ever experienced in a musical. 12 months! I kid, I saw Wicked 2 nights ago for the 8th time, before seeing For Good this evening. And I will be seeing it again tomorrow. But what can I say? But yay, they did it again! A really good telling of Act 2 from my favourite stage musical. Again, everything was a hit. The costumes, the cast, the photography, the humour, the songs, the effects, all of it. Part of me was a little worried, probably more so in part 1 due to the runtime of For Good being only 20 minutes compared to part 1, and you consider the differences in runtime between Act 1 and Act 2 of a stage show. However, what they did and how it was done was really, really good. As stage musicals have a lot they have to fit into 2.5 hours, the entire Wicked movie experience takes that and expands it over a 4 hour and 40 minute extravaganza. I wonder if they'll do a mega cut. Just like part 1, the extra scenes they utilise expand that little bit more from what you see on stage, and it's done really, really well. Once again, without you feeling like the movie is dragging. Always a plus side. The inclusion of the 2 original songs written specifically for the film also helped to expand and extend Glinda and Elphaba's plot points as well. Fantastic productions of all songs throughout, especially my favourites from Act 2, like As Long As You're Mine, For Good, and of course, No Good Deed, which definitely hit a mark for me. It gave me chills, even better than the recent experience I saw in New York City. I know, of course, I compare that to the previous 4 times I've seen it in Australia. Sorry, Broadway, we're sport for choice down here in Australia. Cynthia again brings back daring and brilliance as Elphaba. Ariana is wonderful as the poise of Glinda. Jonathan's fantastic as Fiero. Jeff Goldblum as a wizard. And the fantastic Michelle Yeoh once again brings back the mastery, cunningness, wickedness, and manipulative persona of Madame Morrible. There will be those out there, like critics and such, saying that For Good misses the mark. Doesn't have the same spark of magic and such. as part 1. But it was always going to be different. Act 2 of the musical had a darker undertone to it compared to the first act, which was a lot more lively. However, all the extras and everything they did with this, they did a really good job. All I'll say is don't listen to the reviews. Most of the reviews are purely being done on this just being a movie or a sequel. They're not really critiquing this based on the fact that it's the second act. If you saw part 1 and loved it, see this. If you're a fan of the stage show, you'll love how they've taken it and extended and broadened the horizons of Act 2. You know, you think to yourself on stage, there's some very, very fast character development here and a bit more character development there, and then what they do with the extra scenes and stuff in For Good extends the story. Again, Winnie Holtzman, who penned the story, as well as Stephen Schwartz doing the music and the lyrics for stage, you know, them working together as with an additional writer again for Good, just like they did with part 1, helps to extend the stories of these characters and slot it in well. The way they also then bring in the universe of The Wizard of Oz with Dorothy. Dorothy is in no way a scene stealer. You know, this is not a spoiler. This was announced. She wasn't going to have gigantic parts, but the way they utilize her and all that, again, does not take away from the main plot points of the movie, which is this is Act 2 about the untold story of the Witches of Oz, not, oh, it's all about Dorothy Gale and the Wizard of Oz again. No, Dorothy is, just like in the musical, a side character. And again, she's side charactered really, really well, if that's even a word. But again, I digress. This is an awesome movie. I'm definitely seeing it again tomorrow. And of course, no big surprise, it's me. This is a 5 out of 5. Back to you, Reece and Matt. Thanks for letting me crash the party.
Thank you so much, Stuart, for sending that through to us and giving.
Thank you, Stuart.
And giving us your 2 cents and your thoughts on Wicked for Good. It is definitely appreciated. We might bring Stuart in every once in a while for big tentpole films every once in a while, but seeing how things go. That is today's episode. It has been a fantastic episode. Bunch of stuff we brought in. I think it's one of the better ones we've actually had for quite a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because we've included you a lot more. This is what I love. Like I can talk a lot about moving to TV shows to the cows come home. It's absolutely fantastic. But the fact that we've been able to bounce things off you, like I need to get around to your place when we had to watch things together. Get you talking about me more stuff, mate.
Yes, and I do look forward to doing Roll's Eyes, our musical specials, and Christmas specials. But as long as I get to choose what I want to watch and
course,
so
mate.
forth. Good.
I'm not going to force the genre things down your throat. Like I'll do, as long as it fits within that genre, and you can choose whichever film that officially falls into those genres. Like,
good.
You can't use, even though parts of me thinks that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, Bruce Willis himself said it wasn't. So.
But what about Die Hard 2?
I'd never seen Die Hard 2, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, my God.
I've only seen 1 and 4.
Well, we need for you. Oh, and you know what? My favorite is 3.
Okay, so
my favorite
am
is
I
Die
adding
Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hards 2 and 3 onto our list, are we?
Yeah, don't worry about 5. So you'll need to watch Die Hard 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I've seen 1.
Okay, then watch Die Hard 2 and 3.
Die Hard.
But mainly, Die Hard 2 is set during Christmas time. Like, they do make many references to Christmas.
Is that Die Hard with a Vengeance? Is that number 3?
That's number 3 with Samuel L. Jackson and Jeremy Irons.
Okay, cool.
That is my favorite one out of all of them.
Cool. Alrighty.
Cool. All right. So, again, thank you very much for listening. Stay subscribed and follow us on our podcast channel that you listen to us from, as well as YouTube. Feel free to email your complaints to info@mygeekculture.com.au. Doesn't mean we'll read them. And again, Reece, thank you very much for contributing. You've been awesome. And thank you, Stuart, for your contribution as well.
Yeah.
My name is Matt, and this has been Reese's Reviews for mygeekculture.com.au, produced by Matt Fulton Productions, mattfulton.com.au, which is me.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend or week or whenever you are listening to this podcast. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself some positive thoughts. And as always, may the force be with you.
May the Schwartz be with you.
I think it's going to be our new tagline now, isn't it? You're going to say Schwartz, I'm going to say force.
Yeah.